Broadcasting way too early from 3 separate Wi-Fi connections. It's PT Breakfast Club with Tony Maritato, Dave Kittle, and Jimmy McKay.
Do you want to know some of the best advertising Dave Kittle could do? Is because he's been in Puerto Rico for like a week and a half, and he's always in Florida or he's in the Smoky Mountains. Like the best advertising he could do is like, this is what people that work with me get to do. This is what you get to do if you run a concierge practice in New York City. You get to do these things. That'd be the best ever. Sorry, I'm not here again. I'm out doing things. Dave's not here. Well, he's in Puerto Rico, or he's back from Puerto Rico. I don't know the answer. He's supposedly back. All right. Good morning, Tony Maritato. How are you?
Wonderful.
You had a crazy idea in the group chat this morning that I think was very, very unique and inspiring.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. You know, we've been talking about like therapists who want to produce more content. And really, I mean, it comes down to the same thing as the patient out here who wants to exercise. They know they need to exercise. They know how to exercise. They just don't know how to get themselves to exercise. Therapists know they want to make content. They just haven't figured out how to get themselves to make the content. So I was like, well, what if we just use the voice feature of AI to be a co-host, to be my own AI Jimmy McKay, and be like, hey, you know, let's pick a topic. All right, I'm going to talk about knee replacement. Let's zero down. All right, I'm going to talk about people who have this tight rubber band sensation around their knee after knee replacement. And let's go. You are.
He cut out for you too, right? He's frozen.
Yep.
All right. So where I think Tony is going is, Tony, you're just cutting out. So I'll sort of chime in, which is, this is what I've done for people, and I continue to do for people who are sort of saying this. To use a Dave analogy, because he's a baseball player, is you can go take batting practice by yourself where you throw the ball up in the air and swing and hit the ball. That's not that great. You can hit off a tee, which is a little better, which is all right. Or you take live BP. And like, why is live BP the best? Because it's what you're going to do in the game. So you could sit there and pretend to be in a podcast in your living room and answer questions, right? And that'll get you something. Or you could have someone off camera ask you questions, and that's what I do to people, which is you tell me what audience you're trying to reach, and I go, got it. And then we sit down for 30 minutes and I hit you with 20 questions. I go the extra step of like actually going and editing those things and then being like, here's a Google Drive full of those 20 reels that are all branded and whatnot. Wasn't the thing with Google's Notebook LLM, you could like drop a scientific PDF in it, and it would do it would like make it a podcast where it would be AI talking to AI. I never did that, but isn't that?
I've heard those. They sound unbelievably realistic. It's crazy when two people talk.
Are we done?
No.
So that's the thing. Yeah, Notebook LM will do it for you, but that takes you out of it. What I'm suggesting is basically, hey, I need a partner to get me into this, because I know that if you get me doing 10, 20, 30 podcasts, I will build the reps and then I can take over. Then I can start bringing guests on. Then I can talk to other humans. But the easiest thing in the world would be that AI co-host who shoots questions at me, because we can all answer questions. And they're going to do a better job at asking those questions than virtually anything else we could possibly use.
Don't disagree. I mean, I'm using it all over the place, right? I mean, I use it when this live stream is done, when I go to flip it to a podcast episode from a live stream, I have it write a better title. Right now, it's Smart Doesn't Win, because I put together an outline of what we could talk about based on our group chat. Like, I'm just letting people in on our process, which is not that scientific that you can steal. We have a group chat that we're constantly like, oh, look at this weird thing. Oh, hey, we should talk about this. Or Dave's in Puerto Rico. What is he talking about? Dad bod, which I want to find out more about. And then when we're done, though, maybe we don't talk about all those things, but we understand how the systems work. And we know that we need to put together a great thumbnail with a great title, great description for all these SEO. Like, we understand how the physics works. And then if you understand how this power tool works, you can yes and with that. So I think it sounds like a great use for this. Is data from Star Trek The Next Generation. If you were like, hey, data, instead of like curing cancer, why don't you pitch me some podcast questions so I could tee off on them like batting practice?
So I have a quick example of someone prominent, fairly whatever, local prominent on Instagram doing content, speaking to this digital assistant that I believe is most likely through ChatGPT. I sent a private link in the chat. I'm not sure if the audio will be able to pull through if you want to do it. But there's some funny content from this guy, Greg Una, in New York City. He's a jeweler, so he's a jewelry designer. I don't know if you guys, I can't hear the audio. It might not pull in.
I don't want to play it because sometimes we get dinged for playing other audio.
Okay. So you guys are watching this live or on the replay in terms of video. So some of this guy's content, this is a previous client of ours. He's a jewelry designer, super successful, but he's also almost like not a comedian, but he's hilarious. He's funny. So he does this either in his office or in his car or whatever. He's talking to a virtual assistant named Amanda. Now it's most likely what Tony's talking about, which is the voice feature inside of ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever. And so Greg has Amanda with a, British accent, and she's like, hey, good morning, Greg. And then he's like, hey, what it do, Amanda? Like, run me through my schedule. What do we have today? And like the one thing was like his father's birthday. He's like, oh my God, thank you for reminding me. I got to hit up my dad. But then he also jokes and he's like, Amanda, you're like too serious today. Like, take it easy, like lay back a little bit, like give it to me real, whatever. And it's like, he's talking to what sounds like a human, but it's actually a voice assistant. And so when Tony mentioned this in the chat, I thought of this guy, Greg. He puts out content that has nothing to do with his core business. This content is him, his personality or personal brand or whatever, but it has nothing to do with jewelry and designing. Then some of his other content is actually images of his diamonds and bracelets and rings and necklaces and all that.
But this is where Simon Sinek comes in and says, people don't care about what you do. They want to start with why, essentially, is Simon Sinek. So this guy doing this reinforces this idea that marketing isn't the first touch. This is why I never want to be a director of marketing. I want to be in charge of attention, which is like, how do we get attention? I was at CSM last week and I was sitting with a booth and I wasn't going to say who, and they are a polished product. They are amazing. And I was sitting there just shooting the shit with them. And I was like, this is a great spot. Like, you must have paid extra to be right here. But I was watching people walk by and sort of glance. And I was like, where's your megaphone? And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, you have a product at CSM that people need to sort of like, it's a little deeper than a billboard. Like, they need to sort of step up. If they stepped up and they tried it, people would be blown away. And I was like, so you got to go get them. Being on the corner ain't enough. This is why Subway has the sandwich twirler guy, the sign twirler dude. This is why people wear sandwich boards. This is why car dealers, this is going to make why car dealers get the inflatable whatever. It's like, I got to earn your attention. You don't buy an F-150 because of the crazy googly guy, but you pay attention to that's where the Chevy dealer is every time you drive by, because being on the corner ain't enough, people. So
here's the thing.
I'm like, where's your megaphone? And I offered this company, I go, Saturday, I have nothing to do. I'll sit here for 2 hours for free and I will reel people in. Because I knew if they bought, I said, you have to buy the megaphone. I'm not going to Walmart. You go bring me a karaoke machine. I will get people to try your product. Because all I saw was fish going by and going by. I'm like, you don't eat
bait.
because there's a lot of fish in the water.
They didn't have bait. No bait.
You got to get those fish in the boat. So this guy talking about nothing is so Seinfeldian that it makes sense. Because now when you think about jewelry, you think about him first. You might not buy from him, but you thought of him first. It's attention before marketing, before sales. That is the order now.
Here's the thing. So I'm going to say a lot of the clinicians watching this, they don't want to be the sign flipper. They don't want to be the, wiggly guy. They don't want to do that stuff. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to find a compromise. You are my patient who says, I want to throw the football with the grandkid, but you're also my patient who says, I don't want to lift weights. I don't want to exercise. I don't want to change my lifestyle or my habits. So it's our job to give them an option that maybe they can tolerate until they have something better. This would be something like that.
Show me, don't tell me.
This is their crutch. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Show me, don't tell me. Right. Like, I'm trying to think of other, like, this happens so often. Like I'm going to reference CSM so many times because I'll like run into people or meet new people. And I'm like, people will be like, oh, Jimmy hosts a podcast. You should get on there. And the funny part is their personality changes when I bring a microphone out, or even when I'm just like, what would you want to talk about? Like they automatically go like, you can actually watch them get smaller. They're like, well, I don't know what I would say. And I'm like, oh, everything we've been talking about for the last 28 minutes, that like, if I should have had a microphone, I should just walk around with a microphone on me. I actually shared it with you guys. I can't remember the guy's name, Frankie, the guy who went viral because he like walked around with like a PVC desk and a green screen. And he pretended to be like working remotely. And he was like in a UFC fight. He was working remotely on a water slide. I was at the US Physical Therapy booth doing interviews, 29 interviews in 2 days. That's a lot of content, everybody. But why am I standing still? Why don't I just do something ridiculous? Why aren't I with a ring light and a camera and a headset and a PVC desk just for like a little bit of zhuzh? And that's what I'm doing. You have to bring it to me from now on. That's what it is.
So real quick off topic, Dave, before you came on, Jimmy said Dave's going to come on with this beautiful tan. I am not seeing any.
I don't see tan.
What was Puerto Rico in like a weather alert for clouds or what?
I had some extra admin work. I was out in the sun. We actually did zip lining. I don't know if you guys saw some of my stories.
It was a crazy video.
I was 328 feet off the ground over trees, and also I filmed one of them like selfie video and didn't drop my phone. And they said if you drop your phone, it's gone. Like we're not helping you get it. Like it's gone. It's in the jungle somewhere.
Find My does not work. Find My phone does not work in the jungle that well.
Yeah. So because we're off season, your boy had to go heavy with like the mineral based SPF 50. So I have no glaze. I have no tan.
How is Puerto Rico? I've never been, but I have family that are from Puerto Rico. I've never been. How is it? Worth it?
Amazing, beautiful, amazing food. People are amazing. I've been there twice, and it gets better every time.
Yeah, that's on the destination list.
Quick backstory. My mom was from Colombia, South America. We had family friends that were in Puerto Rico. I remember I spent a summer there. I think I was 14 or 15. It was an amazing experience. We had been back a couple times since, but that was the first time in my life I remember dreaming in Spanish because you just hear it so much. It breaks my heart. My kids have been in Spanish class since like first grade through ninth grade, and they can't speak a single word of Spanish. Wow. But you just took a month, 2 months of living there, and it's incredible. But yeah, it's a beautiful country.
Colombia was awesome too. I did Colombia. I did Medellin and Cartagena, and would recommend, would highly recommend. I've been more places than I thought. You reminded me. I've done a couple places. I'm worldly.
And you get a ton of domestic tours with the
but the problem is I was just in Anaheim, and I could tell you what the inside of the conference center looks like and the inside of the Hilton bar looks like, and then that's the crappy part of like some of the stuff that I just need to be smarter. I need to, on the back end or the front end. Yeah. You know what APTA did? They did a wilderness physical therapy training course at Joshua Tree. So like it was like a pre-con, which is a con before the con. And it was like a 2 or 3 day course in the world. And it was like, bring your tent, bring your sleeping bag. Here's a list. My roommate from PT school did it. And that's a good idea because it was with he made like crazy connections, right? If your game is connections, being in a tent or around a campfire with people with no cell service is definitely a way to force that connection to be built.
Now, I know we have a couple other topics teed up, but you guys were asking me to briefly cover the dad bod thing, which I filmed in Puerto Rico.
Nice.
So I have day 1, 2, 3, and 4 of what I'm literally just making up, which is, day 1 of bloated dad bod to shredded Romanian soldier 6-pack in 6 weeks. I'm not going to sell a program or anything, but a bunch of the content that I did in the hotel, the 2 different hotel gyms, and like pretty good amount of equipment and all that, it's kind of usually like modified in like a hotel gym, but they had a good enough amount of equipment. And I didn't even have, I need to buy one. I need to get a tripod that had, I can put my phone 4 or 5 feet off the ground. I was just resting my phone against exercise equipment, putting it on like the drink holder on like a recumbent bike or whatever. And some of the content was with my Rode microphone, to shout out Jimmy, because I got the Rode lapel mics. And then some of the content was just like me working out. And so a lot of it was with me with my shirt off, which I know, like I joke in the video, I'm like, hey, this bloated dad, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, cringe. Yes. Content. Yes. And it's like, I'm making fun of myself doing it but the point is the one thing, there's one thing that I've gotten out of doing this with you guys the past couple months. Jimmy mentioned already, which is attention before the marketing. Before all this, I thought of, the top of the funnel marketing and, referral partners and doing content or interviewing physicians or all these other things, which I need to be doing. I have a phone call today with a personal trainer in the New York City area. So all that stuff is happening all the time. But what is like even further up the funnel, right? So it's the attention type stuff. And the one thing about that Twitter post from, I don't know, a year or two ago, remember the post that got like 100,000 impressions or whatever on Twitter about the one with that one, my shirt was on. I was flexing, but my shirt was on. And that post was just if anyone's new here, the post was something like, if you're a self-pay physical therapist, do you agree or disagree that you should be fit if you're selling physical therapy on a, to make $250 to $400 per visit or whatever. So obviously it was a polarizing post on purpose. It covered health insurance and self-pay and fitness and health. And what is your definition of health? I wasn't shirtless in that one. That's the thing. It was like a tight t-shirt or whatever, but I wasn't shirtless. So the point of this now is I'm going to be putting out, yes, Ben Galen is here. He's saying thirst trap. David Rubin's shouting out. I didn't see what his comment said, but I'm going to see how this goes. I haven't posted any yet, but I did get like my first, 4 days of doing it. Now the challenge is now I'm back in New York and it's like my garage is not the most aesthetically pleasing to record, like video these, and outside it's 30 degrees still. So
First, it doesn't matter. Second, you understand. I know these are always filmed in reverse. The person always starts at the result, then starts binging, gains the weight, gets all swollen, and then releases these videos in the opposite order. I don't think anybody has ever made a series like this where they actually went from out of shape to in shape in that sequence.
Well, I'm the exception.
You know what you should do? You real quick. You should do the whole like the newspaper to show the date on every single one of them, because it would be mind blowing that somebody actually went from out of shape to in shape in that.
The only guy to do it was Mac from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He got huge and then he got jacked again, like on the show, like in semi real time.
Okay.
That is a smart way to do it. Do it in reverse. I did it. One of my first videos in like video production 1 in college, my buddy Vinny, we thought it'd be funny to have a product where you could grow hair, like hair in a can. So was it me getting my head shaved or him? I can't remember, but we filmed everything in reversed. And then the ending part was the beginning, which was me shaving his head and then having all the the hair, and I was like spraying it in the can, but that was the only way to do it. And then he's like, didn't really think about this. Now I got to walk around with a shaved head for a couple weeks. All right. So what are the topics today? We wanted to talk about that idea in terms of podcasting. I think using AI as a sounding board. I did a drive down to DC not long ago, and AI, like the voice mode, just like the guy in the car, taught me logical fallacies because I had 3 hours to kill. And I turned it into a quiz. Teach me what the logical fallacy is. How do I spot it? Because a lot of people will use them in arguments, right? Online. I am an awesome arguer now on social media because I just unplug your argument because they taught me how to argue instead of like going at these people. I'm like, well, I'm going to unplug your arguments. That's a way to use it for good. So what else do we have going on? What do we want to talk about? Let me get the content list. Oh, secret information doesn't matter. This came from the idea that I started using this app called vidIQ, which essentially is a plugin for YouTube, and it can just help you. So what I'm doing is I'm downloading or dumping in large transcripts from podcasts or interviews like this that we're going to do. And I'm like, what should the title be? Breakfast Club, PT Breakfast Club, February 19th is not a great title for a YouTube video or a podcast episode because it doesn't tell you what you're going to get, right? In the past, I might have been like, I interviewed Dave Kittle at CSM. That's cool for Dave Kittle or people who know, like, and trust him already. But what am I going to get out of this? So the idea here is, how are we being smarter? Secret information doesn't matter. So I think what we typically do is we overvalue what other people know and we undervalue what we know. And that is nowhere more evident than CSM, where like some of the best presenters and speakers, like the Chad Maddens, like you're going to get in front of him and he's going to tell you like the basic stuff. And he's going to look you in the eye and be like, that stuff works. But I could give you the most. Do you want the most expensive? Do I got a bridge? You can buy it. It's in Brooklyn, but that ain't gonna do it. So it's the basic things. So I have a cohort of people who are creating podcasts now. They're all physical therapists right now. And I am beating the fancy out of them. I'm like, you're overthinking it. You're overthinking it. You're overthinking it. Do it less, do it less, do it less. So yeah, I think everybody is guilty of this.
This is the same as the clinician who's like a 20-year clinician looking for the next course, looking for more information. How can I mobilize the glenohumeral joint a little bit differently? And, you know, what do I do with the SI joint? And I must be missing something. You're not missing anything. You either you're doing a good job or you're not. You're not missing anything. There's no specialized technique. When I had started, I looked at vidIQ. I looked at TubeBuddy. You know, they have all these fancy analytics and you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I didn't even know that. Okay. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. You put out content that people want to consume. Yeah. The algorithm will do all the rest of the work. It doesn't matter if you don't put tags. It doesn't matter if you don't. I'm even going to say, depending on the audience and depending on the niche, and for most of us, we're putting out educational content more than entertaining content. So it's like, you know what? I don't have to do thumbnails anymore. It's nice, it's fancy, there's an idea behind it. But if somebody is dealing with some knee pain and it's very specific, or common one, you know, why does my calf hurt so much after my knee replacement? They're looking for that. And they're going to find that video regardless of what it looks like, regardless of a thumbnail or not, regardless of the title, as long as the search engine can say, hey, this is why you have calf pain. And the person's going to consume the content, you know, and I don't have to waste my time going through all of those extra steps.
Yep.
Doesn't make me any better. Doesn't make the content any better.
The only caveat I would say now, the reason I went back onto vidIQ is it's now doing some of the heavy lifting. So instead of me having to take everything out of one thing, put it into ChatGPT and back into YouTube, it's like, we got it. So essentially it's like, it's a ChatGPT plug into YouTube where I'm like, is this saving me 10 minutes of video? That makes sense for me to pay $500 a year.
Hey,
the average person doing a couple videos a month.
Go ahead.
Yeah, probably not going to make sense. So
the one thing I've been learning though from Tony is just like he had dabbled in that. I just haven't used vidIQ, but in general with Tony, I think you're kind of suggesting here, but you mentioned it also privately to us as like, don't worry about all the other stuff. Like, of course, Jimmy, you put out a ton of videos and all that, but I think Tony says for the newbies starting up, don't worry about all these like other apps and like a perfect thumbnail and a perfect title and this and that. It's more like Tony is just suggesting like it's more about volume, like just get content out. And the search engine or the YouTube or the algorithm or whatever will surface more of your stuff the more that you put out in terms of volume and also relevant to the ideal group and population.
I was talking to someone really smart yesterday who has a good idea, and I won't give it away, even though I could give it away and no one's going to take it because no one's going to take it because it's hard, and no one's going to do it better than him because he's pretty uniquely positioned to do this idea. But this person is not social media savvy. So he has a great pot at the end of the rainbow, pot of gold. And he was like, but how do I get all these people to find me? And I was like, well, my friend, welcome. And I just welcome to the internet. Like that's the hard part, right? So I was explaining this to him and he's like, I'm not even on half these platforms. Do I need to be on all of them? And I was like, first of all, I tell people all the time, the only platform or platforms you should be on are the ones you already use to start anyway. If you're going to be the one making, if you don't like being on TikTok, don't be on TikTok because you're going to hate it. So if you like consuming, great. Start with one, right? The second thing is, and I had to sort of give this guy an analogy. This guy's super high level smart. So I had to almost triple dumb it down because I was like, Instagram is reverse Tinder. He's like, what do you mean? I go, you're going to put stuff out there and Tinder wants to be the matchmaker. It just, the algorithm is not there to beat you or to suppress you. The algorithm is there. It doesn't understand you. You think you're stunningly clear. You're not. So I'm like, the more you put out, the more words that you use, the more accounts that connect with you, the better it becomes. Long game. Like that's why like the longer you like, wow, this got easier. The algorithm finally figured me out. That the second part is the thing that is true. So I was essentially saying he was trying to connect with a very small subset of people in the world. And I was like, you have to oversaturate the world with your stuff. So if this doesn't sound like a good use of your time, don't do the idea or realize that someone else needs to do that part of the business. Because his idea without traffic does not work. And that sucks, but that's the way it is.
Now, the other part that I heard yesterday, actually, I was listening to, can't think of his name. I shared the video with you guys, but one of the things.
Ben Brock?
I don't know. One of the things that he said was, it doesn't matter if you put something out there and it's not good. Because the algorithm is so good, it just won't show it to more people. It'll do a sampling, but if it's not good, they won't show more people and nobody's going to see it. So just keep posting.
Yep. When I help people launch things, I realize that I have to do 90% psychological work. So like if you take my podcast course, one of the first things I'm going to tell you is your first 10 episodes will suck. And everybody's like almost jarred because they're used to being like, everything's going to be great and you're going to be great from day one and everything's perfect. I'm like, your first 10 episodes are just going to suck. And then after that punch lands and they come back from reality, I go, but only compared to your next 30. And you're going to think it sucks. Like it's terrible. It's a 1 out of 100. The average person is like, yeah, it's fine. To them, it's a 50. It's mayonnaise. It's going to get better. And that's just repetition. Imagine a CI saying the first 10 patients you see, you're going to be a crappy PT. It's true for some people, but like
but they don't say it. They don't say it. But they don't say that.
Maybe they should. Maybe someone was like, listen, man, these are all low stakes. Like you're not going to hurt anybody probably. Look, just don't hurt anybody, but you're probably not going to do any good. Even if they know like something's better than nothing, the psychological stakes would have been lowered for me. And then I would have been like, oh, I can breathe. Not like make sure you do it perfectly. Go to bat and say you have to put the ball in right center field. You're never going to hit the ball because you're overthinking it. You're gripping the bat too tight. A lot of baseball analogies coming at you today.
Hey, real quick, my patient's walking in the door. I'll catch you guys on Tuesday. You guys have an amazing weekend.
Yeah. Sounds good, Tony. I almost want Tony to just put a headset on and just go full GoPro while he's treating this patient. Like, but how come we're not there yet? Like we kind of are, right? Like, I mean, he's pretty much doing that, like for the most part.
He's done it with like the mics and all that. So
yeah, I mean, I asked him the other day, I'm like, how much time are you spending? He brought up a particular post that got 1,000 comments, not 1,000 views, not 1,000 likes. That's crazy. Someone commenting is insane. Like someone in this world typing for 2.5 seconds is really hard to do. And he got 1,000 of those in like the first 24, 48 hours. And he was teaching me.
Well, usually with his posts about like total knee replacement, post-surgical, and like the calf pain he talked about, not everyone, a lot of people like to share their story. They want to share, here's what my experience was.
Right.
And it might resonate, it might not. It happens a lot in these Facebook groups. I mean, I think the past couple of years, I think that Facebook groups have kind of been in general, at least in the physical therapy business ones that we've seen, some of the Facebook groups seem to have been dying. I think School, SKOOL, is a big competitor that's been probably taking some attention away from Facebook groups. But Tony's knee replacement group is still thriving. And yeah, people that had a knee replacement a couple of months ago, a couple of years ago, people love to chime in with, this was my experience. This is how many hours I slept. These were the shoes I tried. These were the whatever modifications I did at home. And some people, like, I don't know what if we could use that in any kind of way, but it's like maybe some people don't have an outlet with their spouse, their partner, their neighbor, their family, whatever, and they want to get that off their chests in a digital Facebook forum. I don't know.
It's got to be meaningful. It's got to feel like it was a milestone. Like, I won't say achievement. I don't feel like having a knee replacement is an achievement, but you went through it. Which isn't necessarily everything, right? You can't I'm trying to think of things like a marathon group, right? Like, this is why people like to go through into PT groups, because it's specific. Like, Sky Donovan had me great advice early in my career. If I'm ever trying to break the ice with someone who's a PT, I ask them a question about PT school, or I put them in that frame of mind. And it's the only thing you can really say we all have in common. If you're a PT, we all went to school. You can't, everything after that is a variable. Everything after that is this. Yep. But you're like, we were all students once. And you're like, yeah. Tell me about that. So I took Tony's logic of, we all went through in this group, we all had a knee replacement. So he's like, his question was stunningly stupid. It was like, how many degrees did you get after a week of getting your knee replacement? And people could not wait to comment fast enough. I asked a question, and I'll look at it in a second. I asked people, I use Tony's logic on LinkedIn, and I go, where are you in your PT career, plus or minus 7 years? And it's just a 2-question poll. I'll go look at it right now, but I bet you that thing has a ton of engagement. Why? I didn't even ask you to comment. I just asked you to touch a button. But the goal was engagement. I wanted to see who was paying attention. And I'm curious, and here's why I picked 7 years. I went to whatever data was available, and I said, what's the average PT career span right now? And they said 7 years before someone leaves. And I was like, ooh, that's down.
That's crazy.
But I wanted to know what part of my audience that was willing to respond to that poll that they saw during that day was above or below average. And I'll look it up now. But I went the other way, where I used to ask really, really high level LinkedIn post questions or poll questions to try to get really good data. And I realized if it's confusing or if it's not meaningful to me, I'm not going to answer, and then I'm going to get nothing. How can you use that? Like, what are your patients or future patients? The question would be, what do they all have in common, or that they'd be willing to brag or I guess the word is reminisce about more? Because your patients are all different.
Because we do we do ortho, and then we do kind of like geriatric and neuro. So, back pain is one thing that's probably one of the most common things. I'm trying to think, is that the point of, like, everything else is different after that? Because humans they don't have pain, they don't have injuries, and then at some point in their life they have some aches or pains, and they have some back pain or whatever. I'm not sure.
Here's that post I'm talking about on LinkedIn. This was a day ago. I literally just said, tell me about you, ? How long have you been a PT? Plus 7 years, minus 7 years. 228 votes in.
I tell you what, I haven't been on LinkedIn too much in the past maybe 6 or so months. But 228 votes on a poll is typically higher than I ever see on a poll. It also helps when your caption and your question are so simple, 3rd grade, 5th grade reading level. It's all on one line. It's not a paragraph. It's not a narrative. It's you made it very easy for someone to read, understand, and vote.
Yep. And so apparently my audience is above average, because 71% of the people responding. So 71% of 228 are saying they're over 7 years, and just 29% are under 7 years. But that could also be because a large majority what it's going to say could be because of students, but only 30% answering. And then I don't know. I like interaction like this. It tells me who I'm talking to.
you get a little bit of intelligence, a little intel, and so I think we could maybe assume that maybe, I mean, because you kind of have a base of like a very diverse amount of physical therapists, right? So
Yeah.
I think we could kind of assume that the mid to late stage career physical therapists are on LinkedIn more often,
Right.
as opposed to newer grads or PTs that are only 7 years or less in their career.
I think a lot of students are on LinkedIn now because Twitter's not really a place that a lot of people are doing it. So I think they're like, where do I go? And I think their professors or the people that their CIs are like, I don't know, LinkedIn. It's becoming more conversational. You can see people pushing back when things become Twittery. And the same is on Threads, which is like the Instagram version of Twitter. When people start doing LinkedIn sort of stuff, people are like, bring that stuff back over to LinkedIn, bro. Like, that's not what we're here for. We're here for, I mean, we didn't even get into this, but could Dave steal a viral moment right now? I thought of you the minute I saw this. And because you brought the dad bod question, I think you should do a bunch of workouts just in jeans. Do you know why?
I like it. Because that's the dad bod reference.
Oh, so you were on vacation. You missed this. So 24 hours ago, the U.S. Health and Human Services put out a video, I'll find it in a second, of RFK Jr. and Kid Rock. It's like this weird workout mashup, Taba with Taba, and RFK gets into a cold plunge with jeans on. Not jean shorts.
Because he doesn't want to show up his legs, or what? It's got to be.
I don't. That's what some people were saying. Not jean shorts, which also would have been insane. Who works out in jeans? I mean, I don't want to judge people, but I am. He gets into a cold plunge with a full-on ankle-length pair of jeans. I sort of feel like this is a moment where you just get to steal the buzz from this, because the internet was in a tizzy. Yeah. Colleen gets it. Oh no, not jeans. Go here's what I would like you to do. Can you look that up and can you watch it so I can watch your face can we do one of those? So just Google RFK Kid Rock workout video or whatever.
What would be cold plunge?
He's cold. They're working out. They're drinking milk in a sauna. Like, I got to be honest with you. If the Kids in the Hall circa 1996 made this video, people would be like, this is the dumbest thing ever. But the U.S. government put this out less than 24 hours ago, and it is a fever dream. It is very confusing. But hey, you do you. If you want a cold plunge with jeans on, and then like the next frame, he's like walking through his kitchen with jeans on, but they're dry. And I'm like, the continuity, guys, come on. The jeans need to be soaking wet. What are we doing? So do you have the video ready? Tell me when you start it.
I'm watching RFK do push-ups inside the sauna. Kid Rock, who I didn't think worked out ever, because he's on like an assault bike.
At one point, he flips the camera off.
Yes, he flips the camera off. Wait, then they're playing pickleball, which is hilarious. Now they're whole milk in a hot tub. More clips of working out. And where are we? And here it is, jeans in the sauna. Oh my Lord.
Is he in the cold plunge?
Yeah. I mean, in the cold plunge. I'm sorry, jeans. He's getting with his jeans into the cold plunge. Yes.
It looks like they were like, hey, we have a camera crew here, and they're only here for like another 3 hours. So what we should do,
we don't have time for you to change in your
not even that. It's like, what do you got? We've got Kid Rock, an assault bike, a cold plunge, a pool, milk, go. It was like an improv class, and they were like, all right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 15 push-ups, and then what's the music? Ba da ba, obviously. We're just gonna do ba da ba. Obviously. We've got Kid Rock here. We've got to promote it. It's very exercise friendly. If I were still in radio, we would be playing off this so hard. Maybe we start doing that. Is that the angle All you'd have to do is just work out in jeans, and I feel like 86% of the population will be like, "Oh, I get it. He's playing off of that." Like you, in my opinion, I would say you have to parody it so hard that people don't think you're advocating. I mean, even the Canadians, and you know what a Canadian tuxedo is, right?
That's the full denim suit.
Yeah, so it's denim on denim. So like a denim shirt, denim jacket, denim pants. That's a Canadian tuxedo. Respect to my neighbors to the north. That's a Canadian tuxedo. But like, I don't even think they're cold plunging in jeans like that. You're not going to get a whole lot of range of motion out of your hips and knees after that. You know what I mean? It's feeling a little grippy.
Yeah, doesn't make sense. But here's the thing. Again, we've talked about the word attention. And
yes,
that even though we're talking about a silly part of the video, we're still talking about it.
Correct. So the question is like, is all attention good attention? I'm like, nah, I don't think it is.
It's close. I think it's close. I think
it's close.
We're in a noisy media environment. There's always wacky, crazy headlines almost every day.
Almost every day.
Salvatore, thank you for commenting live and joining live. He said, "Who works out in jeans? Hashtag strange." Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing. Like, we're talking about it. So this is the point. This is where anyone that's watching or listening, that's the point, is doing something unique, different, new, whatever it is. And that's why there's, even on like my channel doesn't get a ton of views and yours gets more and Tony's gets more or whatever. But like, you got to be different to stand out. You have to be sometimes, I don't know, irreverent or unique or a different angle or something.
So here's the lesson that I think we were working on in my podcast creator course 2 weeks ago, which is it might appear that there's 1,000 different ways to do something. And there might be. You can pick 3. And you can run the same information through your 3 different formats. Like, I'll give you an example. Every once in a while, an idea hits me. I go to LinkedIn. I write a long LinkedIn diatribe, probably about 250, 300 words. That's what I've found works for me and for LinkedIn. If I get a bunch of reactions, like I did to the post I launched this morning, I then turn that into a 30 to 45 second video. If that pops, I then create an Instagram carousel 2 or 3 days later to teach the idea in 6 to 10 swipes. So it's the same idea.
You're doing carousels, but video. You're not doing statics, right? You're doing all video carousel.
I'll do a text carousel. If it's a lesson, if it's like here's in like 6 slides. But that's like ultra simple, like 6 words per slide at most.
Right.
But the audience is telling me whether this is good or not. And then I'm developing. I can do a quick LinkedIn post or a video, 10 minutes. So I'm like, am I devoting 10 minutes or an hour to this idea? And the more people, like that one series I did, if blah, blah, blah company hired me, these are the first 3 things I did. I got like 100,000 impressions on one. You're damn right. I'm doing 10 more in the next 2 weeks. Then I let it go away. And then you know what comes out again in March? That old idea again. Same old gag, but maybe I twist it. Maybe it's now a different twist on if X, then Y. But if X, then Y, or before and after, those are the same formats. So what I'm trying to get at is you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Just reinvent where the wheel is. Like, we didn't understand what AI was 2 years ago. So we couldn't do AI, could do content about AI. But we're doing before and after. You're doing before and after content. Like, this is where like weight loss centers or personal trainers are so great because they can visually show a change in a body. Similar to what you're talking about with your dad bod series. It's harder to show in 2 static images someone recovering from a spinal cord injury. It's harder. I would say it's just as impactful though and needed to show people that. So you have to figure out what your version is, right? Before and after. This is why working, and then make you the decision. Notice in the before and after, Dave's not in the video. I mean, you're going to be your own content person, but if you were going to run someone from a dad bod to what was your Roman Greek warrior, do gladiator. Dad bod to gladiator. Like, there's your pitch. Showing that is better than telling that. And that's simple and not easy. So what's on the focus? What's on the focus for you in the next quarter?
More content, more unique angles. My new therapist, Andrew, is excellent in front of the video. We've got the lapel mics. We're doing more of that. And tomorrow's Friday. We're doing some more content recording tomorrow. I do want to start doing, it's challenging with the weather so cold, and plus, I don't know, it's not an excuse, but like, I think we want to do, maybe we'll drive into the city, drive into Manhattan and do some more content like on like different street corners and things like that, because that's something that I know will catch people's attention. They know that intersection, they know that landmark, whatever it might be. So I think content around that. We've also we've been using that the recording for game film, like to review game tape, meaning like we're recording through the AI app. Yeah. And also follow-ups, right? And so we're getting reps of recording the patient encounters that they signed off on in their intake. And the cool thing is, now we don't really have time, and I do want to show you when Tony's here as well. But I think I maybe tease it to you guys, but inside of, once it records a call or an interaction or what a patient encounter or whatever, you can go into the profile, or you can go into the system, the app, even on desktop or mobile, and there's a digital audio called Coach Dean. So like Coach Dean Naismith, the guy that coached Jordan at UNC. Did I tell you about this Coach Dean thing at all?
No.
Okay. So you could pull up Coach Dean, and you can set, you press a button, and it basically is like a phone call. It rings Coach Dean, and Coach Dean's like, "Hey Dave, what's going on?" And so I can say, Hey Coach Dean, can you pull up that most recent physical therapy visit that I had with Jimmy McKay and tell me how I did, like, tell me how I performed or whatever. Typically Coach Dean will say things like, "Hey, the greeting was great. You didn't really set an agenda. You didn't, manage their expectation. You didn't really manage Jimmy's expectations. You kind of just went right into treatment. The treatment was great. You own the treatment part. There was back and forth rapport, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end of the visit, you also you didn't lock Jimmy in for the next visit. You didn't say the next date and time of that visit. You kind of left it up to like, all right, I'll text you, you text me. We're kind of busy. All right, I got to run. And Jimmy leaves our office, or the therapist leaves the home visit or whatever. So that's how we're using it to get feedback on how they performed in the visit. But just doing that, I recorded a couple of weeks ago a video of Coach Dean talking with my physical therapist, Dr. Andrew, as we were, and now it was like no patient identified information, obviously, but I did an Instagram story about that. And I'm like, you know what? This is similar to what I showed you earlier of the guy, Greg Una, talking to ChatGPT in a way that's basically like his digital assistant, like talking about like, hey, what's on my calendar today? Hey, Greg, make sure you got to call your dad. It's his birthday. And you have this meeting, and you have this meeting, and whatever, and this thing is coming up in the next day or two or whatever. So just that in itself is content. And so we'll be probably putting out content around that in terms of how we're using it, and that it's different, because there's no physical therapist that is producing AI content or content that is the therapist or the business owner, the practice owner, talking to some AI assistant about, hey, how can I help my team better? Or how can we help our clients better, or whatever? And again, maybe that'll be a dud, but it'll be a unique, different angle. So to answer your question, I'm trying to come up with unique and different angles that are different than like, hey, we evaluate and treat back pain. We help, busy New Yorkers get out of back pain and overcome chronic pain. And so again, just going further up at the top of the funnel, above the marketing funnel, but the attention funnel.
Attention. Look at what higher ticket industries are doing. The thing that you're talking about, high ticket sales, auto, yacht, real estate, they do this. They've been doing this. They record sessions all the time from their cold callers or SDRs. They've been doing it for years. There's that statistic, right? That a patient gets interrupted by a medical provider within, somebody has the stat, 42 seconds. I'm making that up. You can see that. Like, we know that and we still do it. But now you can see it. It can measure how many words you say versus them.
Yep.
In hockey, it's or basketball, it's ball possession, right? Talk possession. How many words did they get out? What was the tone or the sentiment? You could tell me what you thought it was, and then we can look. Well, let's go to the tape. That's actually, you think you're actually creating a really great environment for people to tell you their deepest, darkest secrets. Turns out you're not. That's your perception. Right. That ain't reality. And now, long term, you can see, how does this therapist get people to come back and stay longer and come back for multiple whatever? It's like, turns out it's the noises that are coming out of their mouth hole and not the magic fingers. Like, who would have knew? Who knew? We knew. There was no way to track it, and now there is, and measure it, and now there is.
I'll have to show you and Tony on another call, but the analytics of this app is insane. It gives out all of that, what you just said. The talk ratio, how many minutes the therapist is speaking, how many minutes the client is speaking. There's different other metrics of like the like interruptions and who went on the longest like monologue until the other person spoke or whatever. There's like all these different metrics. And for us, we're looking at it as like, I mean, it's different for different patients. So some of our clients might be 70 or 80 and maybe they don't talk as much, but then there's some clients that have different like fears and anxieties or nervous or whatever. And like, they're talking more and like, they're talking 60 or 70% of the interaction. But then sometimes the therapist is talking 50, 60, 70% of the interaction. It's wild to see the difference. And, but then I talk with my therapist in person or on a Zoom call for coaching and mentorship. And we riff on that. We're like, okay, here's what the analytics says. Let's ask Coach Dean. Let's ask Coach Dean how it went or whatever. And it's so much collaboration. So in the future, we should even be recording that stuff as long as it's not saying the patient's or client's name or any other protected health information or whatever. But that could be recorded where it's like Coach Dean on the screen, myself and the therapist there. We're doing like a session that's basically meant to optimize our performance, but also so that we just help more people. And that could be content.
You get to see something and then actually be able to walk away with actionable steps. I mean, that was the low-tech version. I mean, I literally used a cassette tape when I was in radio. Is you would sit down in front of your boss. He would just hit fast forward and then randomly hit play. And you'd listen to just you, the broadcaster, for like 2 minutes or 10 minutes until he heard, and he'd just be there like shuffling through his papers. I'd be there, not in my stomach, waiting for them to find something wrong. But kudos to my boss, because for 4 years, I never left and like felt less than. He always using it the right way. And he wouldn't do it as cheesy as, what do they call that? Like the compliment sandwich, where it's like, that was great. This need work. That was awesome too. He really was like super open-ended and was like, what did you think about that? And in the beginning, I would be super, like my first couple months or years there, I was super defensive. Like, I screwed that up. And he's like, he was also from California. Like, dude was very, very chill. And he was like, I think everything's great, but like, where do you want this to go? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like next week? He's like, no, in your career. And I'm like, oh, you're here to help me, not like penalize me. And I'm like, got it. And as soon as I felt that, I was like, cool. Okay. Still was awkward. I mean, you hate hearing your own voice. I've been doing it for 25 years. It still sucks. But you don't get over it. You just get past it. So for anybody like using this, if it feels weird, that's sort of normal. But zoom out and look at the big picture. It's like, it's to make you better. And it does. I mean, God bless everybody in PT school who was trying to get us to write those reflections. Reflection is good, but me sitting down to write 1,000 words because I was told to do it in a class, that didn't do anything for me. Reflecting works, but how you do it is terribly important. And I think now we have some tools to make that better.
How about, so I'll ask you asked the question to me. How about for you? What are you working on? How might you use some of this? Any different ideas, content strategies?
Yeah.
Incorporating AI.
It's not a cute thing anymore. It's like the first thing I'm going to now. Like it's, it took me this long. Like it was always in it's been in my top 3 for the last 2 years. Now it's typically the first or second thing I go to. And it's just able to amplify. I mean, I'm a team of 1. So, I mean, I'm just winging most of this stuff. I I mean, it's helped me. I looked at the biggest log jams. The biggest log jams for me, ironically, weren't finding guests or good topics. It was processing everything. It was the thumbnails and the titles and the descriptions, the things that, like, I don't even know, like, do they matter? Like, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I hardly ever look at the description. Hardly ever. Maybe the title, maybe the thumbnail, because that's quick. But for me, I needed to look past that. So, I mean, I told you my big, hairy, audacious goal was 365 episodes in a calendar year. I'm on pace for 600 and something. Now, I might want to take a month off in June, and I can, because I'm plus 365, over 365. But the goal isn't just crank out 365. It's, can I do 365 A minuses? Like, I want good. I don't ever actually go for the A plus because I've never hit one. But like, I want other people to see that too. That it's not the let's polish every word and make it. I don't make Avenger movies. I make radio. I think you can do it too with these things and these things. It's possible and greatly needed for your business and your community. So, parting shots.
Parting shots. I mean, we kind of riffed on it already, but using, again, just putting out more video and then being mindful of not putting out the same old stuff that you've already seen from every other physical therapist or healthcare provider or whatever. Like, how, at least for me, I don't, respectfully, anyone watching or listening, like, whatever you do, you're going to do, and it doesn't affect me one iota. But for me, I want to think outside of the box, do things differently. Jimmy and Tony have pushed me or nudged me immensely over the years, especially in the last 2 years or so. And so, like Tony says, like, if you know, Dave, if you go to like a pizza place, like, how come you don't record it? Like, now, of course, I was trying to do some content in Puerto Rico, and then it's like my family. So there's the balance of like, we're trying to do like family stuff, and I'm trying to get my Rode microphone set up, and the waves are crashing on this pier. And you know, there's the balance there of like, okay, when do I need to like turn it off and just do the family stuff, which of course is vitally important. But if you see an angle, you think of an idea, whatever, for me, it's just, I'm trying to capture it when I put it out there. And so just, Alex Hormozi says it, new, better, or different. And so, we're trying to be different. And of course, new angles and new unique approaches and all that, but different content that you don't see from other physical therapists or physical therapy practices or even healthcare providers. So maybe it is things like having pizza at some place in New York City that has nothing to do with your core business. Again, it's just top of the, above the marketing funnel. It's the top of the attention funnel to try to get more folks into your world.
Yep. Agreed. I would say, yeah, I reiterate this. And if I'm going to, I give presentations on communications at organizations, healthcare organizations, like APTA organizations, and I want to dumb it down, but I like parallels: frequency, intensity, time, type, volume, progression, exercise principles. They're communication principles. Right now in 2026, I'm just like, okay, I've got my intensity, time, type, volume, and progression down. I'm focused on frequency. Can I now run a 365 things through that? The answer is yes. You can too, but if you honestly can't, recognize that someone from your organization needs to. I see this all. Look at this. Go to any APTA state chapter website or academy or whatever, orthopedics, geriatrics, pediatrics, whatever. They all have president, vice president, secretary, treasurer. You know those four, right? Leader, co-leader, secretary, I don't know, organization, treasurer, money. It is 2026. The fact that more of these organizations in their executive committee don't have a fifth finger, I'll use the finger analogy, the thumb. Where's your comms person? That person should not be a committee. That person is either a leader on your board or you are invisible. Like, and we understand being visible is not optional anymore. You are not the authority because you are APTA New York. I love you, APTA New York, but if I don't see you, I don't understand you. If I don't understand you, I'm on to the next thing. So visibility is not, here's my parting shot. Visibility is not optional in 2026. We're back on Tuesday.
Love it. Right
Dave, good luck recovering from Puerto Rico. And I want to see more dad bod. More dad bod over the weekend.
That's it. We're out.
Boys, what the hell are you doing?
Follow Tony Maritato on YouTube at Total Therapy Solution. Find Dave Kittle at ConciergePainRelief.com and on YouTube at The Dave Kittle Show. And follow Jimmy McKay at PT Pinecast on YouTube, the socials, and wherever you binge podcasts you pretend are for CEUs. And hey, just a reminder, none of this was for advice. This was for entertainment only. Our lawyers say that counts. Thanks, Keegan.